Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is FPL Meerkat and today I've got my Game Week 18 team selection for you guys. I'm recording this on Christmas Eve, so it is very nearly Christmas. Merry Christmas if you are watching this tomorrow. I thought this is the last chance I've got to put out this video, so I'm not doing any work over Christmas, about to join the festivities in the next hour. So I thought I'd better quickly get out this video for you guys, and yeah, let's have a look at how the team did in Game Week 17, and it was another green arrow, a really nice one there, from 60k to about 44k there, so about a 16k green arrow. Really nice. A game week that was defined by basically three players looking at my team there. First of all, Sanchez getting a 9-pointer, really solid. Very glad that I started him over Fabianski. That was always going to be the decision for me. Everton have been brilliant defensively, but offensively they've been terrible. So I thought that was a pretty good chance for a clean sheet for Sanchez, and he got a save point and 2 bonus. So really nice. 9-pointer there from Sanchez. Robinson getting a clean sheet was pretty nice too. He did have bonus points right until after the final whistle, and then he just lost them all, which is a bit unfortunate, but still a clean sheet there. Really nice to help boost the rank a little bit. Gabriel getting a 4-pointer, got an assist somehow. It was a really dodgy looking assist, so very fortunate to come away with any points there. Van Dijk getting a 1-pointer. Honestly, he's been a terrible transfer in. He got me a clean sheet against Man City, and that is it. He's not really done anything since. I'm just praying that he gets me an attacking return at some point. That is a consideration, though, to just move him to Trent. I do have the free transfers to do it, but it feels a bit of a sideways move, a little bit. But again, the other two players who really defined the game week, Salah, I mean, what is the guy on? Absolutely incredible display against Spurs. 21 points, captained to 42 points. Massive score there. And yeah, I mean, he had an incredibly good game, but wow, the ball just kept falling to him in the right places. And yeah, he's having an astonishing season, honestly. Best player in the world right now. He's got to be the best player in the world right now. And yeah, there is just absolutely no looking past him for the captaincy. I've captained in the last 3 weeks in a row, I think it is now, or 4. You'll see that it's probably going to be a 5th in a row. Yeah, absolutely incredible performance from Salah. And Isak getting a hat-trick the day before. Suddenly thought, oh gosh, I've messed up here, not captaining Isak for his hat-trick, and then Salah goes and outscores him. Absolutely crazy. Really happy to have Isak in the team. I'm still surprised that he's not actually as highly owned as I thought he'd be. Sitting at about effective ownership, so active managers, only sitting at around 34%, so about a third of managers. I'm sure that's going to rise this week. He's absolutely incredible. I think if you don't have Haaland in your team, Isak has to be in your team, or should be. He should be in your team. I feel like he's such a good asset. I don't like saying players are essential, but I think he's just so good. Yeah, we can see he does things like that, and I just don't think any of the other forwards are really matching his level right now. Palmer blank there, which was actually quite good for my team, given that his effective ownership was higher than 100%. So that means more people captained him than don't own him. So it would have negatively affected my rank anyway. So a blank was actually pretty good there. Saka obviously getting an injury, which a little bit frustrating, given how I've transferred him in for 4 weeks. Haven't had a single return from him, and now he's gotten injured for, I think it's 2 months. Is looking like the timescale for that. So he's going to have to be moved on, which is obviously what the big talking point is going to be. And you will see when we go through my team who I've replaced him with. And I'll go over some other replacements who I do like the look of if you are wondering who you should try and get in for him. Bumo getting a blank, Wood getting a blank, Pedro getting a blank, and Morgan Rogers on the bench, 14-pointer. I'm not too sure if I said it in the video, but I was certainly doing it all week. I really wanted to start Rogers against Man City. I just didn't know who to bench him for. It was between him and João Pedro. I've been really frustrated with João Pedro, another player who I've brought in, and I think I've got 1 assist from him since I've owned him. And I really wanted to start Rodgers over him. I thought Man City's a great game for Rodgers. Villa are a team who are great on transition, on counter-attacks. Man City are a team that struggle with counters and quick attacks. And what do you know? He gets 2 assists from doing exactly that. So yeah, very frustrating. I didn't back my gut with that one. And yeah, it's cost me 12 points, but it's still a green arrow there. It would have been 100 points as well if I'd started him. Little frustrating, but again, really good game week. Kirkes on the bench there with 6 points, but to be honest, I don't really care about that one. I was never going to start Kirkes anyway. So yeah, a really solid game week there and into the top 50k. Really, really nice place to be at the moment. So moving on to the game week 18 team, and you can see there, my Saka replacement is Martinelli. I was looking at the potential replacements for Saka. Obviously, Arsenal's right winger injured on that position, so I thought, why not go for the player who I think is going to replace Saka as that right winger for Arsenal? Martinelli moved over to the right when Saka got injured, and he had a pretty good game. I do realise that Martinelli has probably a lot more assist threat than attacking threat this season, but I'm hoping that changes around, and his data has looked pretty good this season, and I think his minutes are almost nailed at this point, given he's the first choice left winger. And with Saka out, he's probably first choice right winger as well. So I find it very unlikely that he's not going to start most games from here on out. So yeah, really excited by the prospect of Martinelli. Obviously, you can see there, captaincy on Salah. I don't need to explain that at all. You all know why captaincy's on Salah. The only question is, will I activate my triple captain? Because it does look really appetizing. Leicester have been shocking defensively since Rude has come in. Better offensively, but poor defensively. Salah is in the form of his life. It's a time when we know he's fit. He's fully fit. He's going to play a lot of minutes. It does look really, really good for a triple captaincy. If you want to go ahead and use it in a single game week, I'm certainly considering it. But yeah, looks like a really, really good opportunity there. And again, the rest of the team looks pretty good. I am benching Rodgers again. It is away to Newcastle though, so fingers crossed that doesn't punish me as hard as the Man City game. I don't have the same feeling about this game than I do about Newcastle away. I'm fine benching Rodgers for this. If he hauls again, then maybe I just start him every week. But I don't think it will be the same kind of returns in that game. The biggest dilemma I have is between the goalkeepers. Sanchez at home to Fulham or Fabianski away to Southampton. Now, Fabianski definitely is the better fixture there, but West Ham are a worse defence, I think, than Chelsea. So I think it's a really difficult one there. Fulham haven't looked the best offensively recently. So that's why I'm sticking with Sanchez at the moment. And I do think Sanchez will get more saves as well in that game. But I think it's a really close one. Let me know who you would start in the comments between Sanchez and Fabianski there. I think it's quite a close one. So obviously, yeah, Martinelli's come in for Saka. I still have 2 free transfers. And looking at the team right now, I'm perfectly fine rolling. I don't want to roll. I really want to take a punt on someone. I have double Liverpool and I have double Arsenal. I really want to try and make that triple. Maybe not for both teams, but I am really eyeing up a lot of different players here and there. I have Kirkes starting currently at home to Crystal Palace. I'm no longer as confident of that being a clean sheet now because Palace seem a lot better offensively. So I am considering getting in a Saliba to make it double defence. I haven't even considered Raya, but I'm pretty happy with my goalkeeper right now, so I don't think Raya's high on my priorities. So yeah, I do like the look of Saliba. I'm not too keen on Timber just because he's played so many games recently. I feel like there is a benching coming. I think Saliba will just play every single game. He's really solid for that clean sheet potential. I'm obviously looking at Trent as well. I really do like the look of Trent. As you can see there, I've got 3.9 million in the bank from going Saka to Martinelli. I did take a price drop, but that didn't actually affect my selling value for Saka. So I am definitely considering Trent as a potential player to get in. I'm not too sure how I feel about double Liverpool defence, though. Their defence doesn't seem that great. Just conceded 3 to Spurs again. Haven't really got a clean sheet from Van Dijk apart from the City game. So if I'm doubling up on one of the teams, it's going to be Arsenal. And if I'm doubling up on the attack, I do probably prefer Liverpool. I am looking at Luis Diaz or Jota. That's basically the 2 I'm looking at. The dilemma is who plays the most minutes. Because in my honest opinion, as a Liverpool supporter, I don't think that Darwin is going to be starting many games here on out. He might be given the Leicester game to boost his confidence, but I don't think Darwin is a regular starter in this team. I think he's a regular bench player. So if Salah is a regular starter and Darwin is regularly on the bench, that means that one of Jota, Gakpo and Diaz will play twice over the next two, Leicester and West Ham. I just don't know who that might be. If Jota starts against Leicester and gets an early sub, it could very much be him in the 9. If Gakpo plays left wing against Leicester, Diaz is probably going to play left wing against West Ham, and vice versa. If Diaz plays left winger against Leicester, if Luis Diaz plays left wing against Leicester, then he probably gets benched against I'm confusing myself now. West Ham in game week 19. So it's really difficult to predict which of those players is going to get 2 starts. But I'm wondering whether I do actually need 2 starts from them, and maybe I can maximize from this game. If I can predict who's going to start this game, then it might still work out for me. I think Diaz is the best potential for minutes. He can play on the left and he can play up top. Just automatically boosts how much he can play. And he can also move over to the right if Salah comes off the pitch. So he's got a lot of methods of starting in this team, whereas Jota primarily only plays up top. So he's directly battling with Darwin, I think, in terms of that striker spot. And Gakpo, the same thing. He's only battling for that left winger spot. So I think Diaz has got 2 chances to start, and that's why I actually like him as a prospect in terms of minutes. I just really like Jota for this Leicester game. I think he starts, and as the number 9 against Leicester, I think that is a massive opportunity for points. So the question would then be, how would I even get Jota into this team? Well, it would probably have to be for Mbeumo, who doesn't look great selling Mbeumo ever. We saw what happened to people who sold Mbeumo over the last couple of game weeks, but the fixtures are getting considerably worse for Brentford, and they've got a lot of injuries piling up. So I do think that we're going to see a big slip in form from Brentford. And again, away to Brighton, Brentford's away form has not looked great. They've just blanked again as well against Forest. And yeah, the fixtures aren't looking great. So I think that going for someone else, a bit of a punt pick over Mbeumo could really, really pay off. The other player who I'm considering is Jesus, who put up a brilliant performance again for Arsenal in the previous game against Palace. And yeah, it would be for João Pedro, who has been a thorn in my backside recently. But this Brentford at home fixture is great for the reasons I've just said. Brentford have got a lot of injuries piling up. I think their form will start to slip. So surely this is a really good chance to give João Pedro a last hurrah, and then I can either offload him or just bench him. Because Morgan Rogers is going to have better fixtures and I will just play him instead. So the rotation between João Pedro and Rogers works pretty well. So that's why I'm a bit reluctant to take this punt. And I am at quite a good rank right now, so I don't want to destroy it by getting rid of João Pedro and suddenly this is the week he does really, really well. So quite a few dilemmas there. I did say I would discuss some Saka replacements. Obviously, Martinelli's my favourite for the reasons I've given. I think his minutes look really good for the Arsenal attack. I do want an Arsenal attacker for these fixtures coming up. I don't want to go into it with 0, and I think he's the best chance for attacking returns as well as minutes. Obviously, a lot of people are going for Ødegaard. I get it from a point of, he's going to play all the time. He's probably going to take a couple more set pieces with Saka out of the picture, and we assume he's going to be on penalties as well, as he has taken penalties off of Saka at points. I just don't really like it as a pick because he hasn't looked great all season. He's only got 3 attacking returns. I do understand that he's missed a big chunk of the season, but he hasn't had that direct goal threat that a lot of these other players have. I believe he's more of a assisting the assister kind of player. He's a brilliant player, but he does do a lot of pre-assists and he doesn't take that many shots. I think his only goal this season actually has been a penalty, if I'm not mistaken. So he's actually had 0 open play goals this season. So you are really just hoping for that penalty. And the kicker for me is nobody would have considered Ødegaard if Saka was injured. No one. You wouldn't have picked him to consider a double up on the Arsenal attack. I'm only considering Martinelli now because his minutes have suddenly gone up because Saka's out the team and his attacking threat looks really good. If I knew Martinelli was nailed, I would have picked him anyway. I don't think anyone would have picked Ødegaard as well as Saka. So I'm just surprised that he's now become this really great pick because he's suddenly got penalties. I could be totally wrong about that. He could get a penalty in the next game anyway and prove me wrong. But I'm just not sold on Ødegaard. I do like Bruno Fernandes. That is a good pick. The Wolves fixture coming up is obviously great. The fixtures after that aren't too good, but he's on penalties. He has much better attacking threat as well over Ødegaard. That's what I prefer from Fernandes, and he does seem to be very much that talisman of that Man United team. If you think Man United are going to do well, Fernandes is very likely also going to do well. I do really like Ismaila Sarr as well. I'd probably have Martinelli as my top pick. I'd then have one of Jota or Diaz as my second pick. Ismaila Sarr would be third. Massively in form. Palace's fixture looking really good. I don't mind the fact he's much cheaper than Saka as a replacement, because money's not really a problem for us now, given that most of us have Salah and Palmer. Unless you've still got Haaland in your team, if you're not looking at getting in Haaland, then you've actually got a lot of funds to spread around. So I don't mind if Sarr is considerably cheaper. I think it's a bit of a psychological block in terms of getting him in because of that. But he just really looks like that main man at Palace right now, getting the goals, starting regularly. He's gonna keep playing. He's been their best player recently. He's gonna keep playing in that team. And yeah, the fixtures look really, really good. So I do like Ismaila Sarr as a replacement. I've seen a lot of people go for Foden as well, and Son. That's also another one that people are eyeing up. I've also seen Bowen and Gordon. Just on Foden, again, you're banking on the fact that Man City are going to suddenly improve. He's had one goal this season. It came last game week. Hopefully that form can continue for people picking up Foden, but I'm just not too sure. I don't think I'm going to touch Man City assets at all, because they just don't look like a very good team right now. Their form has actually been the worst in the Premier League, and that is a lot of money for an asset who I don't think is performing well. The team's not performing well. But yeah, it's an interesting punt if people want to go there. I wouldn't discourage you from any of these punts. That's the great thing about this Saka injury. Obviously not to Saka, but in terms of for FPL, is that there are so many different picks you can go for. I don't think there's a pick you could recommend to me that I would say, no, that's not a good pick. I think there are so many choices. I've seen Murphy as well has been a popular pick. Do like that as well. He's been massively in form, cheap, really under the radar. Do like that as well. So yeah, there are so many different Saka replacements. But yeah, so minus Martinelli. I might look to get a Liverpool attacker. I might look to get in Jesus to go alongside Martinelli for the Arsenal attack. I could go for Trent. I could go for Saliba. Basically, I'm going to wake up on Boxing Day, probably hungover, and make a decision then. But for right now, I've just made the move for Martinelli. Yeah, but the team looks pretty good. I do like Wood as well. You can see my vice captaincies on him as well. Just a great fixture right now against Spurs with so many defensive injuries. They look really shaky at the back. So yeah, I do really rate Wood as a pick there. But that is going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Obviously, I haven't done the team of the game week team. I haven't had the time basically to look over that. At the software that I use, the plugin for Live FPL hasn't updated yet, so I can't actually do that one, but I will update the leaderboard once it's updated, hopefully around Boxing Day, and then I'll bring you a two game week update on how the mini league leaderboard is looking. But I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Leave a like and get subscribed to the channel if you're enjoying the content here. Go follow me over on X as well if you enjoy this kind of content. I make a lot of graphics, and I do team predictions, and I do the goals conceded thread, which is very much looking at positional goals conceded from players. But yeah, I hope your Christmas punts work out for you. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the next FPL video.